second half, but I feel from start to finish, like to the minutes you played, Marino, you did your thing, Gyökeres did
Yeah.
your thing, Saliba did your thing, and you said it there. Like I was in my watch along, like I said, yo, Odegaard, come off. It's a Marino thing. At least for this season, there's certain conditions where that Zubamendi Marino partnership it can
works.
work. We can be a bit cute and clever. I actually think Marino did his thing. Nobody's expecting fireworks. In Arsenal's strongest 11, nobody wants Mikel Marino with the greatest of things.
No, but
He's
let me.
not a game changer, but he's
I
done
need.
brilliant.
I
I like
need.
him.
I need people to be. I know it's like we have our biases, and also Marino is stopping more liked players from playing in their minds.
The Eze's, the Wanyeris, all
And
they're stopping
Ranieri.
themselves. Or the only one stopping them is Arteta, because Arteta's like you said, there's a
and
pecking order thing.
themselves. No, but let's keep it real. Like take Ethan out of the equation because he's just a kid. Let's keep it real. Eze had that position post Man City, and the overwhelming thing for him was that outside of Spurs, he didn't do enough. And so he's
Even
on the
before the
bench.
Spurs game, people were onto him, and it was more of a moments thing.
Yeah, but Marino, like, I think he's had some really good moments this season. The pass that he put in for Trossard in that one game was like spectacular. I think he had a pass the other day.
Martinelli on Sunday.
Yeah, he has the clean, the way that he strikes the ball. He hit that ball so cleanly. Sanchez made a world-class save randomly, but that was going in the back of the net. Marino scores goals. He creates moments. He's slow as fuck.
He's intelligent.
And he can't move, but I think he's earned his way back into that position.
When you accept him for what he is, he's a decent squad player.
Yeah, Marino, and he had the captain's armband. He may not be high in your thinking, but he's high in Mikel Arteta's thinking.
So he's rated in the squad.
Yeah. So for me, like I said, I think, Odegaard was really poor yesterday, and he just has to hold that, next game, start over. But Marino coming in, I thought was the right call. And it's dark for Eze, to be honest. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm like, damn, how is he really about to get back into this team? It might be a FA Cup thing.
Well, he's gonna have to be patient, just because obviously it's not. I'm not trying to make this about Eze or Odegaard. Clearly, when Odegaard does well, I'm the first to make bear noise. When he's moving shaky, I'm the first to say it. The one thing, rightly or wrongly, that Odegaard has is he understands Mikel Arteta's system, and he's the captain. Let's have it completely honest. Where we look, if we assume remove Odegaard and slap Eze in that 10, remove Kai Havertz and play Gyökeres, that's probably what people want to see on paper. Realistically, neither player has really done much, and the players that have started haven't either. Managers are going to play favorites. We know we needed fireworks. What has shagged Eze is, I don't feel Arteta is completely confident on a consistent basis to drop a Zubamendi or Rice and go with our captain and Eze in midfield. So naturally, it probably would have been an Eze left wing thing and Odegaard through the middle. What shagged Eze as well is obviously Trossard. He's rightly so. He's locked that down. When you get your chance, take it. I love Eze. I think Eze's been good. I hate the fact that I haven't seen him and whatnot. But you've had moments, you've not taken them, you've not been consistent. If life was fair, we'd all have a lot less. Every week, and I said it earlier, I want to see Miles Lewis Skelly. I want to make every excuse for Wanyery.
Yeah.
I want all of these guys, but everybody can't get a game and whatnot. And as long as we're winning, me and you can sit here and we can say, oh, Jess, what do you think of this? Oh, DG, what do you think of that? We're winning. When we're not winning and it's looking shaky and players are not grabbing onto their spots, then me and you can sit here and say, oh, DG, does Odegaard need to be dropped? Oh, Jess, we got to bring in Eze. You got to do this and that. As long as we get over the line, I don't give a monkeys. What do you make of this? SYC has said, does Arteta and staff also need to stop being the protagonist too much and let the attacking players cook more instead of holding touchlines and the system? Gyökeres could cook then if they let off a bit.
I just don't think there's that much evidence concretely that Arteta and the staff are, handcuffing these players to the touchlines. I think we're assuming because they're not playing well enough that it has to be Arteta. I think people desperately want it to be Mikel. And to be honest, there was a podcast that Jorginho did a year ago, and he made the comment that, Arteta does not tell our wingers to hold the touchline. He said that.
Saka all said he lets them play with freedom.
Yeah, so I think you guys just need to take the players, word on this, and he gets them into the final third and they don't do enough. I think that maybe our patterns can be a little bit different, I think, because everybody kind of knows what we're going to do. We have similar kind of patterns, but I feel like people just don't want to admit that our players in the final third are not clinical and they make poor decisions and they don't know how to turn the screw. I mean, how many of the players need to tell you that? I mean, Jorginho has no reason to sit on that podcast and while they're talking about just random shit saying, no, Arteta doesn't tell people to hold the touchline. You actually could come central if you want to. And people are still be like, that's lies, but that doesn't align with your narrative. So I don't know. And you say like, oh, we don't play for the striker. We could play for him more, but don't lie. Saka's put that ball across there several times and Gyökeres has not been there. So
two troops can live in the same realm.
Yeah, I think it's 70-30 and our attackers are they need to get their shit together. Every last one of them as well. Not just
all of us defensively, including them attackers. The whole team needs to go up their gears because being good doesn't get you over the line. We've seen it for the last 3 years.
Yeah. And also we play against a lot of deep blocks. And so they flood the midfield and then they leave the space on the wing. So there's no real place for our wingers to go than the wing, so even if it's like Arteta's not forcing it, but the game that we have to play against most of the times allows for there only to be space there. And I'm going to be really honest. I don't think that anybody outside of Saka is going to play well coming central. Out of our wingers, I don't think if they come central.
Oh, that's harsh. When you say coming central, what does that mean to you?
When I say coming central, I mean playing in between the lines in tight spaces when the midfield is already flooded with our midfielders and also their midfielders, and the game is condensed into one half. I don't think Martinelli coming central and trying to receive it in between the lines is going to work. Maybe Trossard, but even Trossard is inconsistent with his technical pieces as well. I think Saka's the only one. So maybe we could play different wingers in that position. I think maybe Eze could do good in those tight situations. Maybe
Ranieri as well, but that's not going to be a thing. You're probably relying on your inverted left back as well. In that regard.
But I think people are being a little disingenuous about the space that we're in, and the space is out wide. So of course, when we're playing against these deep blocks, we're gonna be wide. But that doesn't mean that Arteta's saying you have to stay wide and you can't go anywhere else. But maybe some of them know that if they get the ball in that position, they're gonna lose it. So
then based on what you just said there, Jess, it made me want to ask you this. It's like, if we focus and somehow learn how to break down low blocks or get a bit more in central areas, is that where the issue is? And naturally, the wide areas will take care of themselves. Because if we're causing problems centrally, there's gaps out wide, in it, and there's overload. So are we asking ourselves the wrong questions then? And is it then a central thing basically then?
Yeah, I just think that, we could tighten up a little bit. I just think that, everybody that plays in those attacking positions could do better. I think
1,000,000%.
I just feel like it's a whole group thing. And I've seen us play against deep blocks and do so much better because the final ball was better or the shots were better or we even just taking shots, so we can just do so much better. But there's just something missing with the attack right now. And then I was like, I think it was Neil said, like, Henry said, great quote, he wasn't getting the ball, but he had to understand the players who had the ball. And I think, when I see people
understand your teammates, know which man can play them passes and which man can't, or how they play a pass.
Yeah,
someone could find you, like the Odegaards and Zubis. If I'm Gyökeres, I might be able to hand on the last shoulder. I ain't even looked. I know these men can see. For argument's sake, Martinelli head down. I might have to dumb it down a bit for him, and vice versa. Like, you've played sports, I've played sports, the chat has played sports. It's obviously exaggerated, but it's no different in the professional game. So I'll be right.
I think they need to look at their teammates and make better decisions. Because even yesterday they were kicking it long to no fucking buddy. Why are you guys kicking it? It wasn't even just Kepa, because Kepa was doing that shit. It was pissing me off.
She actually read my mind. I was
Everybody
just about
was
to say
kicking
Kepa.
it long. Why are you kicking it to Gyökeres? Why are you? He's not going to get there. He's not beating Fofana and whoever. Who was back there? Badiashile? I don't know.
Badiashile came off the bench. Fofana, just random black youths that play for Chelsea in defense. They're all shit anyways.
What are y'all doing? I saw Saka kick it to him randomly in the channel. He's not getting there. But then when Martinelli's out there, you guys don't kick it long. You're kicking it to his feet.
You put the ball in the box 9 times out of 10 when Gyökeres comes off.
Yeah, you guys need to be smarter. I just personally, as somebody that's could be very harsh towards Mikel at times, I think our attackers just need to do fucking better. I think it's 70% them. They're in the final third a fucking lot. But when I see you guys kicking it and it's like the quality of the pass is not good or the decision is poor, Mikel can't get into your head and make you do better, baby. You got to do it on your own. You know,
got like Arteta can give you the information, and it's not to absolve him of any blame, but he can give you all the info in the world. At the end of the day, you don't need to go out there. And as much as I think sometimes it is a bit too scripted, sometimes I think, especially in the final third, he could focus more on what we can do. As much as I feel we haven't learned as a team, attack is a form of defense. At the end of the day, you lot are grown individuals. Fair enough if it was Miles Lewis, Skelly, Wanyeri, a young Saka, bare kids out there. You lot are experienced enough. You lot have learned experiences. We find ourselves talking kind of about the same thing. So I can only imagine what the players are saying. Do you think we'll do business in January? Because I've had this question up for a minute. Neither do I.
I don't. I think the most we'll probably do is do a pre-contract with Gahey for the summer or some shit like that. But
if we're lucky, would you make a Saka in central areas long term? Anyways, that don't necessarily mean a false nine or whatever. Like, do you think we could get more out of him? Because that is something Arsenal fans say. If we play him central, naturally, you know, we could do something there. Because I do think that's an underrated trait of Saka, his ability to play in tight spaces.
I think Saka would do better if he could do more central shit. Like, I don't think he needs to play the 10, but I think one of his better qualities is that when he drifts in there, you can't take the ball off of him. Like, if they can't take the ball off of you, just give it to him in central areas and let him fucking dribble. Because he's either going to get fouled or he's going to get in there and take a shot, you know? So I think that we should do more of that. But maybe that's one thing where maybe Mikel could do a little bit better is because I do think that we do play like that position bullshit, whatever it's called, where everybody has their area and only certain players are given license to move, like the left back or the random game where he allows Odegaard to go from side to side. I think there should be license for the wingers to switch positions more. We do it every once in a while, but I don't think we do it enough. And there's at some point I need to see Saka and Madueke play together. I'm so sorry. I need to see it.
I wanted that yesterday, Jess. I was baffled. I agreed with the Merino thing because I was calling for it. And obviously, I love Martinelli, Jesus. That you've got stuff that you can bring this team for a year in it. But I think both of them were shit. I didn't understand that. I was screaming Madueke. Let them do the swapping thing. I don't know who was worse. Jesus, I think he was a pass. I actually think in the last 2 games, Gabriel Jesus has been a passenger. I know he obviously got that assist against Portsmouth. We've come to accept Martinelli in it. Like, Martinelli is just Martinelli. I think there was shit. Like, I think a lot of the subs, not necessarily Arteta's decisions, but I think the subs were shit apart from Merino. Merino done bloody well, and that's obviously on Arteta bringing him on. But I just think Merino was with it yesterday. He was in the game, innit? I don't know anything beyond that.
I think Merino gives off like grown-up vibes. Like,
he's just intelligent with it, man.
Yeah, he knows what his role is. He knows what he's good at and what he's not. Exactly. And I feel like even Norgard kind of did the same thing when he came in and played center back. No nonsense. They just kind of do their job and like move on. I feel like maybe some of the attacking players are a little rattled because they want to prove it so bad that when they come on, they start making mistakes. Like Madueke, why are you taking penalties, honey?
Talk to me about that, because some people have been doing the whole, he's got the Chelsea attitude and he's doing all of this and that. You know, a lot has actually happened since the last time we was live. You know, there's a lot of things I actually have to ask you, but like, talk to me about that, because I don't think it's that deep. It was a shit penalty. You missed the penalty. It is what it is. But where are you at? Because some people are, Chelsea's not.
He's not who I would have, but I think it more speaks to the desperation that I feel like some players are doing. Because when Madueke wants to play, you can tell because he's just doing a bunch of shit. And like a lot of times it comes off. And I think he had some really good moments against Portsmouth that he wasn't perfect, but he had frustrating moments, but I thought he had good moments too, you know? So you can see he wants to play. He's desperate for it. Cool. And then you have other people that come on and I think they're shell-shocked. Like Eze. Eze to me is shell-shocked. I don't think he can get out of his mind.
Dumb it down for someone that don't know what we're referring it to.
What I'm saying is like where Madueke and Martinelli had frustrating moments against Portsmouth where you just wanted them to do a little bit something different. You saw them in that game and they were disruptive. They were doing the most. And then you had like Ethan, who I thought had a pretty good game against Portsmouth and looked clean and was doing stuff. Marino got the ball. You know, he was doing stuff. As much as people cuss Marino, he was doing shit. There was only one player that you didn't see shit from the whole game, and that was Eze. And I don't think that's because of anything other than he's shell-shocked, and he's the opposite of Nani. Nani is like, try hard when I want to play. I think Eze is like shell-shocked now. Like, I don't want to make a mistake, so now I'm just kind of passengering it around. Like, we need
Is that
him
scary for you then? Because Eze, like, we want you to take risks, surely.
Yeah, I think so. But then I think also, it's different when you play in the midfield and you make a mistake.
As we saw yesterday, it's more
it's hard. It's worse than when you're a winger. So yeah, I just think that we're going to need all those players in the second half of the season. You can tell that they're kind of wanting it maybe a little bit too much, but that Portsmouth game, I think, said quite a bit about where we're at with the mental side of our attackers. We have our tried and true, we know who are going to be starting, that we can kind of rely upon, the Trossards and Saka. And then everybody else, what do we know we're going to get from them? Like, what?
I know you're going to work hard. That's about it. Goals and assists, I don't know. And if you, like, as much as I love Gyökeres and I was being silly, I don't know if you're going to do that against Nottingham Forest. And if you do it against Nottingham Forest, I don't know if me and you are sat here in February, March, if we're feeling the same way. And it's not just him, but you said it there. That's why, man, need everyone. I need Kai to get up to full fitness. I even think people are putting too much on Kai. And a bit like with Gabriel Jesus, I think a lot of people don't accept players for what they are. Like, there's qualities Kai can bring us. There's qualities Marino can bring us. There's qualities Jesus can bring us. But I think there's a lot of recency bias. Don't let, because Gyökeres was stinking up the joint, make you put Kai and Jesus at some level that they're not.
Yeah, that they're not at. Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with that. They just all need to go up a couple percent. And, I still think that they will have good seasons. They just need to relax, and when they get a moment, we're going to need them. This whole month is going to be packed full of games. The rest of the season, hopefully, it'll be packed with a bunch of games. So you're going to get your moment. When you get it, you need to perform. And I just feel like some players are not able to rise it. And then it's the players that people don't like that are rising it, but don't get any credit, like Marino. It's
Pete Jess, do you know what
Trossard have done quite a bit this season. I said Marino and Trossard have done quite a bit this season for players that nobody really rates, but then players that aren't doing anything are like, we need to play so-and-so. Well, we did, but they didn't do anything. So now where do we go from here?
Of course, like, you're right. And that's my thing, yeah. And that fans always talk about no one's position safe, not like there's mad depth, but it's all fun and games until the players that you like and the players that you want to play are not necessarily playing. Of course, there's some factors you can't control. Nwaneri, it's a hierarchy thing. As you said earlier, Jess, he's got the relationship with Zubi. He's ahead of him and Eze in the pecking order. Eze's ahead of him as well. And obviously you've got Odegaard. But generally, it's been working, and I think many fans can't accept that. There's probably about 4 or 5 players that are non-negotiables. You're gonna typically start if there's a gun to Mikel Arteta's head. I want to ask you as well, like, is there a problem with managers having favorites? Because every manager's got favorites, surely. If life was fair, we'd all have a lot less.
Yeah, I think every manager has favorites. I just think that fans don't like when the favorites are not the people that they want, and ultimately, I think a lot of times, especially like Marino is a favorite. Right. To me, it's clear that he's a favorite.
And there's tiers of favorites as well. The Kais, the Marinos, the Odegaards, they show it.
But it's very rare that you look at a favorite and you can't see a sustained amount of time where we've been at our best with them in the team. Because I can't deny that some of the best football that we played, at the back end of 23-24 had Kai in it. So Kai is trusted. And I think Trossard is somebody that's a good example of somebody that wasn't a favorite that's become one through
you make yourself
play. And that's the problem, is people want other people to be favorites, but then when they get their chance, they don't rise it. And then the players that you don't like are doing the job. So
and then you won't become a favorite.
You can't say that Arteta has favorites that haven't earned it, to me, in some capacity. You may not like them, but they have at least a sustained amount of period where they've performed well. And your favorites, the fan favorites, keep it real. When have they done the same? They haven't, so Mikel has favorites, and I get why they are the favorites, because some of our best times have come with those players on the pitch. Like, hello, like, so they're favorites. They just are.
It's as simple as that, and every manager's got them. I'm not saying this right. If life was fair, we'd all have a lot less. Everyone can't get a game, and also we've got consistency in results. As you said, at one point, Miles Lewis-Skelly was playing. Trossard, you can't lose that left wing. If you want to be a favorite, put yourself in it. Yes, we know if you're not really given an opportunity, if you've been out of the cold and then suddenly you're thrown in, we all know there's caveats, but I'm not being funny. All that matters is winning trophies in May. I would love for everybody to get a game, attackers to be up there for golden boot and assists, defenders getting their clout, but we need to just get over the line. It's genuinely as simple as that. Based on the Portsmouth game, Jess, I do want to ask you as well, like, is it time to throw Martinelli up front? Or does that change too many team dynamics? Should we just give up on the Martinelli up front thing? I was told to ask you that.
I don't know why you guys are still holding on. Like, how long?
I got to ask the questions. I was told to ask.
No, I think, as much I get it that Martinelli could be a striker, but I think you have to keep rolling with Gyökeres, especially now that he scored. I think you have to give him another 2 or 3 games at least. But yeah, I mean, you could, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I've never held on to it because if Arteta was going to do it, he would have done it by now. And he did it once, and then he never did it again. He did it against he did against Sporting in that tie.
He did against Liverpool last season, I want to say, away. But think about all the trials we done and everything for him to get to that point.
Agreed.
For me, it's not that it's wrong, but too many dynamics in Arteta's system has to change for Nelly to go up front.
And I just don't necessarily feel like that's our issue. I feel like our best solution is either getting Kai fit and us going back to our settings that we had a couple seasons ago. Because before Kai got injured, he was having a good season last season. It was just everyone else was shit, to be honest. Him and Saka were doing pretty decent.
Kai's been one of our more consistent goal scorers, and I would describe him as clinical. So that raises in question collectively what we're doing in our quest of trophies, if I'm real.
Maybe if we just keep feeding Gyökeres, maybe things will get better. So I don't know if moving Martinelli from his position and starting with, I'm sure they've tried it in training. I just don't think that that's the answer. The forwards just need to get better. They just need to rise it. I don't think it's a positional problem. They just need to be more clinical and make better decisions.
Just need to learn to be able to. I just want to rely on my attacking players as much as generally I rely on my defenders, which I sound a bit hypocritical because I've been I've criticized my defenders several times this season and our whole defensive ethos. Like, our first attacker is Raya or Kepa, like yesterday. Our first defender is Gyökeres at the moment. The whole team needs to get better. Completely off topic, but what's your lineup for Forest, man? I already know mine. I genuinely already know mine, but what's yours?
The same team that started against Chelsea, except for Kepa out for Raya.
Timber left back.
I'm not playing Miles Lewis-Skelly. He's lost me a little bit. I think.
Oh, Jess, no, get out of here, man. Jess, come on, don't keep the faith. Don't sell your stocks, man. He's here, man.
It's not about selling stocks, but it's really bad. It's not tenable. He needs to maybe play the FA Cup games. I don't think.
A bit dark, slightly.
I don't know. The only thing is Neil saying rest Timber, throw Skelly in. The only reason why I'd play him is to protect Timber. That's it.
For argument's sake, Forest of the 3 games, well, that would have been the 3rd game. So what we played in the FA Cup, we played in the League Cup, granted it's the semi-finals and Nottingham Forest. You could argue that's the most important game of the 3. 3 for 4.
Because
I'm throwing my hat in, man. Miles Lewis-Skelly, Timber, big up White. I love you, White. Miles Lewis-Skelly, Timber, fuck it.
Why not play Miles against Inter and Crete?
It's a good shout. But I think
the Inter game is less important than Nottingham Forest. It just is. No, it is. It is. Be serious. That Champions League game is not that important. We're not winning a trophy for being first in that league. We're just not, so we've already secured ourselves to a point where we know we're going to be in the top 4. We're going to beat Crete at home. Even if we don't beat Inter, it's really not that deep. Those are 2 games where you could actually rotate or at least throw Skelly in. But that Forest game, if City,
baptism of fire still,
whether City mess up or not, we cannot drop points in that game.
And it's going to be tough.
So Yeah, sorry. The Forest game is more important. I actually would play Skelly against Inter and Karit or whatever they are, and just whatever their name is. And I'd actually really rotate against Karit.
I mean, if we can't rotate against that team, if it's Karat, Crete, whatever the hell they are, respectfully to them, I don't want to.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what it is. Karit.
Yeah, I don't know what their team is in it. I've never heard of them. It's probably AI. But you are right. They're the only opportunities to quote unquote rotate. For me, with Miles Lewis Skelly, I will say this: I'm saying that if Hincapié and Calafiori are not fitting it, I don't know what's going on. Arteta, he's got us on strings consistently with players' fitness. If they're there, then one of the two, preferably Calafiori, would be in. For me, with Miles Lewis Skelly, you're right. Obviously, he's got a bit of a hurdle now, isn't it? Like, you had that honeymoon period where everything's going right. Now everything's kind of going wrong. Probably a bit of your confidence is there. But the reason I'm saying Miles Lewis Skelly, and I know I'm a biased Miles Lewis Skelly fan, it's because of what I said earlier. It's like, I just think down the left-hand side, Timber, and again, you could, if you're great against Chelsea, you're great against Chelsea. I just think we lost a lot without having an inverted fullback. And to be fair, we haven't really played Miles Lewis Skelly like an inverted fullback, but I just want a bit more down that left-hand side. Like, fuck it, you could even rest Timber and go with White, really. I just need my left-hand side to bring something. But then you are giving me food for thought, because Nottingham Forest ain't going to be an easy game. We've got first world problems. They're fighting for survival. I hope I'm gassing up the game, but we imagine under the lights, it's aggressive, it's fast, it's direct. That's going to be an area they obviously target. But yeah, that's your what. So you're going. I'm going Miles again, assuming no one else is there. I'm going Miles Lewis Skelly and Timber. You're going what the same 11 basically. How difficult is it against Forest? Or am I exaggerating?
I mean, every game in the Premier League, we've made a very difficult game, whether it needed to be or not. And that's my point. Is the Premier League game, even when we're playing against Wolves at home, we found a way to make it very difficult. So I'm just thinking, like, because what usually happens is if you let your fullbacks get cooked a couple of times and they get into those areas and they get half chances, all of a sudden we concede a goal, right? And so I'm trying to keep that down as much as possible with Timber. I totally understand, like, you don't want to keep MLS on the bench too long, because then you won't be able to
this time he's just a tool, man. And if them men are not there, you can invert. I just want to get Lewis Skelly in the room, bro. You're savage. Be savage today, bro.
Skelly has played a lot in the Champions League, if I'm not
mistaken. Yeah, he has. That's where his minutes have come from. I'm sure there was a point in the season he was starting there, and like
this whole idea that he hasn't played, and that's the reason why he's not playing well. He quite literally started off preseason poorly. I remember us having these conversations in preseason. I said, he don't look right. He doesn't look right. And he just has not had a good season so far. So, yeah, in the Inter game is up there for him. That Karit game is up for him. I think I'd play it safe with Timber. Also understanding, like you said, that impacts our ability to invert, which means it's going to affect us a little bit attacking-wise. Those attackers need to just rise it. You're playing against 15th place Nottingham Forest. They got knocked out of whatever competition that they were just playing against, like a lower level.
They want to get rid of Zinchenko as well. And they've got no cancellation clause. Edu strikes again. I actually owe you an apology, Jess. Yeah, but I still maintain 15% of what I said in that. If I'm gonna praise all the good things that happened while Edu was here, and like I have to like all the good things that Arteta did in terms of recruitment and whatnot, I have to indirectly give Edu credit. But then also I was on the L's, and I remember you was telling me, and I was like, you're being a bit harsh. But he's a crook, you know, because I've been looking back. This the amount of things you fucked up at Arsenal Football Club and what you're doing at Nottingham Forest. I missed. You scored that. Edu is a crook. Like a crook. How is there no cancellation clause?
One of the worst decisions that Marianakis has made is choosing him over Nuno. Like, I know Nuno's not necessarily doing well at West Ham, but West Ham are a sinking ship. Every manager that's gone there has struggled post Moyes, right? But
yeah,
there's just, they had something good. Nuno had that team clicking. They got into Europe. He was doing well. And then all of a sudden, you know, all Nuno asked for was Adama Traore. That's all he wanted.
That's a pretty fair request. Why he wants that, I don't know, but
that's all he wanted. And you couldn't supply him because you wanted to fill that team with all your Kia clients. And now you guys are shit. And it's just, why would you?
Facts, to be
fair.
I tried to give, I always believe in giving everyone a fair trial. You're a crook, my brother. Like, I don't know how, in hindsight, how did you last here that long? I wanted to get your thoughts on this, yeah? Like, not the whole thing, but I want to scroll to the end. Leave my tabs alone, by the way. Half of these things are for you. Like,
crazy.
Leave them alone. These are for me.
Because I would have anxiety looking at all those overstimulation in that. So.
I knew you was gonna comment, man, but I wanted to get your thoughts on this. I'm trying to scroll to the actual bit that I wanted to ask you about with William Saliba and get your thoughts on it. Yeah, what do you make of this? Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Where is it? Oh yeah. So we have to win titles, and at the end of the season, we'll say that we have the best partnership in the world. We have to prove it on the pitch with titles, of course. And then he went on to say, we want to win everything. I think I'm tired of winning the season without anything in my pockets. So now we have 4 competitions. My pockets were empty last year, and now we want to win everything. The League Cup, the FA Cup, the Premier League, and the Champs. Of course, it's not easy. It's easy to say it. So we want to prove it on the pitch, and we'll give everything to win every title. What do you make of that from William Saliba?
Listen, you guys have been around long enough to know that we're in a good position where players actually want to stay long enough to see it actually happen, because we've been in positions where we've had players that have dumped us because we weren't acting. So I think that's a testament to the club that they haven't won anything yet, or we haven't won anything with this group, and players still want to stick around and see the fruits of the labor, right? Because before they would just dump us. They were already talking to other clubs. They were gone. They were at rivals, That being said, we need to just win. Like at this point, like it's so hard, having these conversations about anything outside of, are we going to win? Are we going to win? I don't care about anything else. I just want, are we going to win? Are we going to win? Because we need to. This season is so, this is the one. I think we felt like we needed to win before. I think we felt like we needed to win before, but we definitely need to win now. Players are signing on longer term deals. I don't think Saka's ever signed a 5-year deal, so I think all of them have been 4. So the trust is there, but we need to win something. So yeah, I think, I love what they're saying, and we definitely have the best center back pairing. There's no doubt for me with that. But you got to put your money where your mouth is. And, that 6-point gap, hold on to it.
Means nothing. It means nothing at this moment in time. I'll take any gap, but it means nothing. I wanted to ask you this because before I had you on the platform, I went live by myself in it. And somebody said, yeah, like, we've got a world-class team. And I disagreed. I said, and I just want you to add if you agree or disagree. Yeah? I said we haven't. We've maybe got some world-class players. We've got a good team. But I believe world-class teams, they go down in history, whether that's Invincibles, whether that's Chelsea sides, City sides, Spurs sides. Now I'm chatting definitely not Spurs, PSG, Real Madrid, the list goes on. Am I wrong?
Oh, no, you're not wrong. I think this team will go down in some very crazy conversations the minute that they win, but they have to win. They have to win. When they win something, I am putting so many of these players into crazy conversations.
Some nasty conversations. Forget the world-class players, yeah. Marino is world-class. Kai Havertz is world-class. Gyökeres is world-class. Fuck it. Miles Lewis-Skelly and Wanyet, bro. Just if we win, I'm going to be a villain.
Yeah, but we have to win first.
Exactly.
So, and I think it says a lot that some of our players have been able to kind of establish this world-class title without winning anything. That's how good they are. If we don't win, we'll go down as the best team to have never won.
The best nearly men in the history of the sport.
Yeah, so we need to win. But yeah, very unserious conversations I'll be putting these guys in. Very unserious. Like,
I'm gonna ask you this as well every week, yeah. And like every week in January that we do these streams. Does Nwaneri need to go on loan? He's been linked with West Ham and this one and that one. Apparently, Nwaneri's camp have said nah to West Ham, and Arsenal are not at this moment in time prepared. Like, does he need to go out on loan? Great performance against Portsmouth. Never saw him. Might not even see him against Nottingham Forest on the bench.
I don't know. It's weird. I think maybe I'm holding on to him because I'm just afraid we're going to go through another injury crisis post-January, and we know we're not going to go into the market and really do anything. So I would hate to get to a certain point and not be able to utilize Ethan, right? But I mean, he could go out on a loan, but I don't know. It's a weird one because I'm also thinking to myself too, like, where are you going to get this playing time even next season? Like, What's
Do you
about,
know what I think Ethan's thing is? Yeah, like I think Ethan and Miles Lewis Skelly. It's a weird one because I actually think this year, obviously, I want you to play some more ball, but I actually think this year you're in the roles that you should be. Because one thing I didn't listen, Wanyeri in your minutes last season, you did your thing. Obviously, Miles Lewis Skelly, life came at you fast last year. You took it in your stride, and if you're good enough, you're old enough. I just feel during the Emirates era, we've been in this weird trap where we start relying on these players. Like winning and losing is genuinely on that. We saw that with Smith Rowe, actually Nelly to a degree, Saka the best example. And I like the fact that they've kind of reverted back into these roles, if that makes sense, Jess.
Same.
I see the positives and negatives because he could go on loan and it actually could set you back because you're probably not fully match fit. You're not been exposed to playing twice a week. You got to remember, like, he's not going West Ham, but West Ham or Bournemouth. If Jess is Mikel Arteta, yeah, and she's got Wanyeri, I'm gonna be like, yo, Jess, no, don't worry. You want to play him in midfield? I'm gonna do all of that. I'm gonna tell you everything. Well, you see when he signs, it's not that I might not play him. He might just be the best option I've got right wing, and my midfield is great. So you might be in and out the side. Now you could caveat that with some minutes are better than no minutes. You said the realest thing in that. I do think unless Arteta's had a serious conversation, you probably need to go on loan next season if nothing's changed. And a part of me just feels maybe some players have to go in it. Like I'm not saying to sell Marino or Kai Havertz. I mentioned them because they can play as midfielders. Maybe those guys need to be available for Wanyeri to get minutes, but you can't have a season like this next year.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe like now that you're saying that, Jesus is somebody that will likely go, and he can definitely take his role for sure. Because I think next season we'll still have